All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow, and remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. I'll give you a couple of words about my guest. Advocate, reflective, experience, author, all the way from Maryland. Please put your hands together for Miss Cheryl Gray Hines. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Look here, I am happy to have you on the show. As I said, the last word I said, you are a author, and the name of your book is In Support of Myself.
Yes.
And I see the lovely display behind you. Can you tell us a little bit about the book and, where can we get it as well?
Well, it's about asking for and accepting help from others, targeted towards women who may often try to do things all on their own.
Now, I'm going to, okay, so we've been on social media and we see all the memes that says, check on your strong friends, check on these people, or what have you. When it comes to those who try to handle everything on their own, what are some of the dangers that comes along?
Wow. The dangers that come along with trying to handle things. First of all, I have this term called the handler syndrome. And it's for people women primarily, who are, I got it, I can do it. Yes, I don't need any help. They take on everything all on themselves. And so some of the dangers are that literally you can burn yourself out. It can impact your health. It can impact your mood. It can impact your ability to actually deliver and fulfill the promises and other commitments that you make because you're taking on so much.
Okay. And let me just ask, because, I'm just thinking about certain people that I know, they never say no. Regardless of whatever it is, it's always a yes. And in my mind, I want to say, like, that's really impossible. Like, you just said that you were going to be somewhere else. How are you going to do this at this time and then go halfway across town to do something else? But they just have a habit. They just can't say no. What are some of the fears of, some of these women saying no to, some of the things that they're being asked to do?
But, it's interesting in terms of fears, and there is a chapter that looks at barriers to accepting support from others. And accepting support and being in support of yourself can often mean saying no as well. But some of the fears can be, fears of rejection, that if you say no, it will occur to someone as if you are doing something wrong to them, and therefore you don't want to deal with rejection. There are times where people don't say no because they have a tendency for being people pleasers, and that's actually something else that I cover in the book, where they want to please people, they want them to be happy, they don't want to disappoint them. There are fears around how will I look, how will I appear from the standpoint of vulnerability if in fact I say no, if I decline. And so those are a few of some of the things that can get in the way of us saying no to people or accepting help when someone wants to give it to us.
Okay, all right. So, and I'm just going to say this. I'm asking these questions, I know, as a man, but, sometimes it's good to get the perspective, from the opposite. Look, as a man, I would want to know, hey, you know what, maybe some of the stuff I'm doing, maybe I need to ease up, maybe I'm asking a little bit too much of this person, because we don't know at times, and especially if you have a, mate with the handler syndrome, like, they try to be the superwoman, I can do it all.
That's right.
You know what? You need the kids dropped off here. Oh, I can go do that. Oh, you know what? Your mom's hungry. She needs something to eat. Oh, I can go do that as well. Oh, you know what? Hey, I know I got this project due, and man, I'm making a movie. I'm going to grad school, and I'm building a car at the same time. Like, whoa.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Slow down. All right, But what kinds of questions, can women ask themselves? Like, where am I in life right now, and what can I do to get better?
So actually, there is a chapter that focuses on make the most of what's most important right now. And sometimes we have to look at where am I in life, because we can be in different phases and stages. Mm-hmm. Take, for instance, what's important to us right now in 2021 is different given what we have been going through with COVID-19 is different than what was important in 2020, 2019. Our things shift. They can also shift based on the phase and stage of life that we're in. I mean, there are times where you want to focus primarily on your career. Mm-hmm. There are times where you may decide that you don't want to be so pulled in your career that you want to focus on, a relationship, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to have a career, but it's just how much energy and effort do you put into it. And so we, as especially with African American women, very often get involved in lots of things. There's another chapter that hardwired to give and not to receive. And so we're just sort of, whether it be through social media, whether it be what you've learned and what you've been exposed to, the examples, we're wired to do. And so asking yourself the question, so what is most important at this stage and this phase of my life? And that doesn't mean that will be the only thing that you focus on, but it enables you to wrap your decisions around those things that are most important, primary, and then secondarily, what else can I do without burning myself out?
Okay, now it's very funny you just said that. What things are primary? What things are secondary? Especially in a person's life. And, when it comes to, just for the record, African American women now in the corporate world, those who are climbing the corporate ladder, look, y'all running things, okay? I mean, I'm just going to keep it, real. Like, you all are really climbing the ladder. Now, I know, yes, there's still barriers there. They need to be broken or what have you, because honestly, we're in 2021. We shouldn't be still hearing things like the first African American woman, the first African American, the first. No, that should be done. It should be what it is. Like, hey, I'm here. Man, I have more coming behind me. I may be the first, but I'm definitely not going to be the last.
Right.
And, for those who are climbing the ladder and they want that career, but at the same time, their heartstrings are being tugged towards, having that family. And they don't want to say no to having that, but they don't want to say no to not having a career. Like, how can they find that balance? Because sometimes it's usually one or the other. Something's going to sacrifice, whether it be the job or whether it be the relationship or family. So how do you sort of find the balance to hold the two together? If you're a person with handler syndrome now, you don't want to, tip the scale too far over now, and then like, oh my God, now everything's gone. So, but these are real life situations. I know people like this. People like this. Okay?
I've been one of those people.
So,
in my in doing the executive coaching I do with leaders in organization, women in varying levels. Mm-hmm. It's not an unusual problem. Like, so how do I choose? And here's the thing, it is looking at it, and if it has to do with another person, it is a discussion, because there are different points in times where my career actually might be the focus, yours, or the business that you're starting, and me being a support of that may be a focus, but it is a conversation. It isn't well, I'm going to do my thing, especially when it's two, right? Now, if we're talking about relationship, and so how do I move forward? It it there are certain types of people that complement each other. All right. So if you want me to stay home and cook, now we're also dealing with an old paradigm now. Okay.
Okay, all right, now, okay.
And you're not willing to help or get the takeout, right?
Mm,
I mean, it might not be the right match. So we also have to look at what are our goals and what are our aspirations when you're talking about relationships, right? And again, the priority, having conversations about who's going to do what and when, right? And sometimes it's not that simple. I mean, things happen. I mean, the family could start before you want it to. So is there going to be someone who will primarily help versus someone now pursuing their career, right, in the home? We have to look at, there have been gender roles that have been ascribed to men, to women, and that going back to the hardwired, African American women can often feel like they have to do it all, but we can make some decisions. And it doesn't mean you can't have it all. You can't necessarily have it all at the same time.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay, you can't have it all at the same time. I understand. I get that. I have a question.
All right.
My question would be, okay, so we talk about those with the handler syndrome, and I've seen certain aspects where, the person was somewhat of a control freak or what have you to say,
No, you did not say that.
They really wanted to be in control. Like,
okay.
That's just what it was. They were been like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, it needs to be done this way. No other way but this way.
Okay.
When it comes to a person such as that, and handler syndrome, because this can affect all different types, like the mindset to deal with something like that, how does that shift from, okay, my way, to, you know what, let me ease up off these reins real quick and let me see who I have in front of me so we can work together as a team. Because as you said, in the end, it's about support. And you want to be supportive, but how can you be supportive sometimes when the person's controlling?
Well, here's the thing about control. Control is actually associated with trust, right? And so we then have to ask ourselves some questions about why is it that I feel like I'm the only one? Is it fear of a loss of control? Is it fear of, that you don't believe that person will be able to do it to the same extent? That might mean that you have to invest the time and energy. I talk about making an investment for it's a return on investment, whether it be in the workplace, whether it be in the home. Now, first you got to have somebody who's willing to learn, and it doesn't matter, what area it is, but is that someone that you're willing to invest in so that there can be a return, right? And recognizing that when it comes to you, because you asked the question about control, when it comes to control, we often have to look at, everyone goes through phases of learning, and anything new requires us to have some missteps, maybe even some small level of failure. So to what level am I willing to take the risk to also let someone else grow? And so it sometimes, we're just on automatic, working on automatic pilot and aren't even aware, right? And so it means looking at what do I need to look at that requires me to be in that position that I feel like I have to control.
Okay. All right.
It starts there.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you said that, because, sometimes, pretty much as you said, it's almost as if it's like an autopilot sort of, thing. Once you hear certain words come out of a person's mouth, oh, I'm on autopilot. I know this has to be done. this way, this way, this way, this way. I'm the only one who can do this. No, we need to have trust. We need to, and pretty much as you said, if it's something of that extreme or what, nature or what have you, then man, maybe we need to sit down and talk and we can discuss how to do that. That way you won't have these fears or mistrust of, issues or what have you, about whatever it is we need to do. Okay. I agree. I agree. I'm so, listen, I'm learning. I'm growing.
Okay.
Okay.
And so if you're encountering the control, so it may be a gentle, so, I would like to help and I may not do it perfectly, but that might help ease your burden, right? That might take something off of your plate. So what can you give me that if it doesn't go exactly the way you want it, you'd be okay with it?
Right. Okay. Now, you know what? I think that's a great way of looking at it, because sometimes as a man, we can overthink the issue. We do that sometimes,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. She wants, like, what do you mean? What? I mean, I just asked a simple question. Oh my God, So no, but what is it that what is it that I can assist you with that you won't get mad, if it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to go? And if it's like a list of 4 things, hey, you give me number 4. All right.
Right. And there is also a chapter in the book, and it says it's called "Say Yes to Angel Offers," right? And so angel offers, there are often those women that have that handler syndrome or want to take on everything all by themselves. There are often people around because they see them doing so much, taking on so much, that want to assist them. And so we also have to learn to say yes, thank you, just yes. And it's not, and I will say that if you're not accustomed to doing it, it's not necessarily easy. So an angel offer from you, for instance, could be, I see that you have, that you're trying to run all these errands. Can I run that one for you? And it gives that person the opportunity to say yes. And again, we have to become more comfortable with saying yes, and recognizing that when we say yes, it doesn't necessarily make it seem like we're not capable, or that we're shirking some kind of responsibility. Just say yes.
And if you say yes, please have it come from a place of trust that I'm going to do the job. Okay, please. I'm just saying.
Well, and here's the thing: if the person has the handler syndrome, they are the controller. I'm not going to say what you said. They're the controller.
I'm
right?
sorry about the other word, but yes. Please forgive me. But yes.
Please also give them, if you will, just some patience, that they've got to grow into some new behaviors. New behaviors take time, they take practice for any of us. And so, as you say, from a male standpoint, give them that room, that space to recognize, oh, I could do something different. Oh, yes, you are here to help me. Thank you. To baby steps to accept it.
Fellas, all right. Okay, so if any of you all out there, sometimes, you may not understand, like, why is this happening? I don't understand. You just said you needed this. Look, baby steps, okay? Assist her, all right? Take the smallest thing on there, all right? Start with that. Work your way up, all right?
Yeah.
Happy home, great home. There you go. All right.
For sure.
So if anyone wanted to get the book, how can they get the book?
Well, beginning in March, they'll be able to find it at all major outlets, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. You can also find it through my website, which is CherylGrayHines.com. And so, we often will put in some little extras that you wouldn't get from those other locations when you get it from us.
Okay, see, that's why I always tell people, go to the website. If they have a website, go to the website. You just never know what may happen. Something may come your way. Like you just said, goodies. that you wouldn't get at a Barnes and Noble.
Goodies, signed books, all of that. Yeah.
You definitely ain't getting no signed book at Target.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
You may get a signed book, but you're not gonna like what's in it. Okay, so I can't promise you. But no. But if anyone wanted to get in contact with you, is that how they get in contact with you, or your website?
Yeah, we have a support self at CherylGrayHines.com, and so we'll get right back to you.
Okay, all right. So now what's coming up? What's in the future for you? Like, I mean, I know the year just started, but there's so much going on. Before you know it, it'll be February of 2022. Okay, but what's next for Miss Cheryl Gray?
Well, yeah, I do have a consulting business, and so that is, even during COVID, been abundantly blessed, and it continues to grow and thrive. Working with organizations and doing executive and leadership coaching. There is the launch of the book, which is very, very exciting, and so I am doing more. I'm actually even doing a series of virtual workshops right now for women called "Give Yourself a Moment." And so there'll be more events, whether they be virtual workshops, and when we can get back out and get in touch with one another and connect, I'll be doing some things on site. I am available for speaking, and so those are most of the things that are on the agenda: the business, the book, and connecting with and helping women to have better lives where they feel more supported and are accepting support.
So the words I use: advocate, reflective, experience. You've gotten it all here. All right. Like, I didn't pick these words for no reason. I mean, there's a reason for these words, and pretty much the discussion we've had, I feel at some point all of this has come out, which I'm glad it has, but I'm kind of sad because this brings us to like the last question of the show, the question the show is known for, because I'm really learning personally here, learning a lot about this handler syndrome, and I find it very interesting, fellas. I'm telling you.
There is one other thing, though, if I might add, that I didn't mention, that when women have the handler syndrome, when they have fears, there are often also things that are going on in their head that they're answering the question to. And what I often refer to that is the adult version of the boogeyman.
Okay.
Right.
Now, see, you have intrigued me now. You have intrigued me now, Cheryl. You just can't say that now and just slide along. No. Let's park it here for a minute or two. Let's take this.
So we all remember the boogeyman as a child. That was what was in the dark, right? That we were afraid of. That was what we, and it wasn't real, but it seemed real. And so the adult version of the boogeyman is when we make up in our heads that there's going to be this reaction or that outcome, or there will be this disappointment, and we run scenarios and we'll go to the end, and it's never happened. It's never happened.
Okay. So, and I know exactly what it is that you speak of. And when that situation happens, how does it get to that point? Because it's almost as if you like let the imagination just spur out of control. Like you have totally thought or overthunk a situation to its most extreme, and now you have made a scenario that's not even there, based off whatever.
And all of us do it, by the way.
Oh no, and I'm glad you brought that up. It's just not enough. Trust me now, fellas, we do it too.
Yes,
we do it too. Trust me, look here. I'm gonna raise my hand. That has been me before, and totally way off base. But for me, I can honestly say it was just a fear, and unknown fear. And I believe that half the time that's pretty much what it is,
Yes.
It's just the fear of the unknown. And it may be fear of a feeling that you have that you may, I know this may seem okay, but I probably shouldn't be feeling this way. Almost in a sense as if you're not deserving of such feelings. Mm-hmm. So, Or what? Well, yeah. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you may feel as if you're not deserving of such feelings, so you may think of whatever scenario to terminate whatever joy that you may have.
The unknown.
Yeah.
The boogeyman can be driven by the unknown. It can be driven by varying fears. When we don't have the full picture, and so we're trying to fill in the blanks, which is a natural process of the mind. That where there are gaps, then we make it up, right? And so I often ask the question: so are you dealing with real and relevant and timely information? I mean, is this something from the past that has occurred that you are reflecting on the experience that you had in the past and now putting that in the present? Is this, based on reality? Is it based on fears and concerns? I mean, you've got to sort of look at all of those various things. And if it's something you're making up based on a fear of the past or even someone else's fear, then you're dealing with the boogeyman, and you don't need to let the boogeyman control your life and stop you from moving forward and asking for the things that you need or pursuing those things that you want. Yeah.
I like it. You know what? Okay. Now, I wasn't going to just let you just put that right there and just walk off and act like you didn't put that down. Now, come on. I mean, I see you over here. All right. Tell us about now. Look, I mean, because fellas out here want to know, at the same time, like, look, how can I be a more effective partner? And I'm just going to go out and just say this, fellas, get the book. Sometimes when you really want a full understanding of, who it is you're with, just what makes them tick or what have you, anything that you're curious about, man, here it is. Support, and you can open up. Maybe you can answer some of the questions, before, your mate can. And as you pose the question, oh yeah, I knew you were going to say that, but this is what I recommend, and I don't recommend you playing your own therapist now. Don't play your own therapist.
No, please don't. Please don't. But no. And in making the recommendation, instead of making the recommendations, right? Mm-hmm. How about demonstrating different behaviors? It's not always in what we say. There has to be alignment between what we profess is important or we want to do for you and what we do, right? And I mean, this is for men, this is for women. It is, I can't just say I want to be a supportive person and then tell you what you're doing wrong. That doesn't work.
That doesn't work. No. And well, that never works.
So what you want to do is show them. Yeah. So actions that you can take are just doing. And if a little bit of the criticism comes, well, you're not doing this, you're not doing. Whoa, wait a minute. Let's rewind this. How about we look at, because unfortunately the tendency is to defer to the negative. So let's look at what there is and then what else can I, right? These are discussions that we have to have.
Well, no, I wholeheartedly agree. These are the conversations we need to have. Instead of just making it you. How about we discuss what's going on?
Absolutely.
And, one thing I was going to say about the book, why, men should probably purchase the book. As you said, you had a workbook section in there where you have people answer questions about certain things or whatever.
At the end of each chapter, there are reflection questions. And so it just gives you an opportunity to look at what were the concepts and how do I apply those concepts in my life, like real time. That's the coach part of me, that it's got to be practical and have practical application. So you can look at different parts, you can look at different fears, you can look at how you may not be accepting support. Mm-hmm. You can look at, there's a chapter, no is an equalizer, right? Where you can look at why you may, and we often have this aversion to no because it's one of the first things that we learn, right? It's woven through our lives. And so what gets in the way of you saying no, and avoiding no's from other people, and what are your automatic no's, What do you say no to automatically, right? And check, where does that come from? So there are questions throughout every chapter of the book for you to take a look at yourself.
Okay, all right. Fellas, get it. You and your lady answer the questions together and get a better understanding of each other. And, it can be almost somewhat of a couples therapy, pretty much in a sense, because you're getting that aspect from the other person, and I always feel feedback is always great, especially when you're trying to grow. So.
Yeah, I would say I would use, because therapy. I am not a licensed therapist.
Okay, well, no.
I definitely know the differences, but think about, how about couples collaboration, right? Where we're looking at different ideas and different thoughts and collaborating around. What can we do with this? How might we approach this together? Or again, how might we support one another? If they're the handler, then that means they need your support. Okay, and so what can you do to do that?
Couples collaboration. I like that. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Couples collaboration. No, I like. Look, we all about the words around here. Okay, all right. Couples collaboration. Okay, I see you over there, Cheryl. Okay, all right. So, no, those are all great points. Like everything that we talked about, like I feel is very necessary. Support. Just. Man, fellas, as I said before, she has a list. Find the one thing on there that, she may not critique, so hard about. Do that. Do that to the best of your ability. Make that your thing. That way you take something away, that she doesn't have to be stressed about, correct? And that way, the handler situation sort of like, falls by the wayside slowly but surely. It's a process, but it has to be worked out somehow, some way. And okay, see, insight is about learning. I like that. I see you over there, Cheryl. All right. So now, this has brought me to my last question of the night. And Miss Cheryl Gray Hines, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
Well, the word that comes to mind is that I am an encourager, right? And so whether it be in work environments where you feel like you've hit a wall, I'm going to help you to identify what the opportunity is and how you can utilize your existing strengths and then understand how to move forward or how you're getting in your own way. I'm an encourager for people that may not see their own personal gifts. I'm an encourager of people to explore growth and development. I see the good and encourage it to grow.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna add another word to that.
What's that?
Okay, I'm going to say encouraging connecting.
I'll accept that.
Well, because you connect people to what it is that they, hey, look, you're trying to get here. Oh, okay, well, man, X, Y, and Z may be blocking you. So let's talk about this and let's connect to the other side.
Yes.
Let's take down this wall and let's connect and let's go forward. And these may be the reasons why we're not going forward. So let's work on this, which you encourage them to do. And once they're done with that, then they make the connection. And now we're traveling on towards, our next destination, and we're going to do the same thing. So that's my word to you.
Thank you. I'll use that. Encouraging connector. I got it.
There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Work with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Work with Ty Brownlow. Or you can go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Get this wonderful, very wonderful conversation, plus other great conversations as well. You can also follow me on the podcast platform at Apple, Google, and Anchor at Work with Ty Brownlow. Miss Cheryl Gray Hines, I thank you for being my guest today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me with you today. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed it immensely.
No problem at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good night.